Hey, my name is Troy and welcome to Facility D20. In this video we're going to talk about the top 5 things you need to look for when picking out an airbrush for miniature painting. Come on, let's get to it. So what I got here is the Master G48 airbrush, and I got this to replace this old Master that I had for about a little over a decade. This worked like a champ for me. So I want to talk about the 5 things to consider when getting an airbrush for painting miniatures. This is a nice little kit that comes with a quick release fitting and a little wrench here to remove the nozzle and a nice foam fitted case. So the top 5 things you should look at when you're getting an airbrush for miniature painting. The first thing should be the needle and nozzle. So we take this off here. You want a 0.02 or a 0.03 millimeter needle and nozzle. This is great for a miniature painting. You really don't want to go any bigger than that, and any smaller it's kind of hard to get the paint to flow through it. If you're a beginner, I would suggest 0.03, or if you want to get a little adventurous, 0.02. You'll get the hang of it, and once you learn how to mix paints, it'll be fine. The second thing you want to look for is gravity fed. Gravity fed means the cup is on the top and not on the bottom. So on this one we've got a small cup and it's located on the top, and gravity forces the paint down into the airbrush chamber and then out the airbrush instead of being sucked up from the bottom. Very important for miniature painting. Number 3 is the dual action. Now dual action means you have to push down to get air and pull back to get paint. So when you're looking at the trigger assembly, you would want to push down to get air and then back to get paint. This is really helpful because if you just push down when only the air comes out, you can help draw your miniatures, and you've got more precise control over the amount of paint that comes out. And while you're spraying paint, if you go forward, release up, you won't get that splatter effect. As a bonus, when picking out a compressor, I'd recommend getting a tank compressor for 2 reasons. 1, because it allows for a more consistent air pressure from your airbrush, and 2, because the motor gets to cut out from time to time, allowing it to run a lot more cooler. They give you a lot longer using your airbrush before your compressor overheats, which can happen. So guys, if you like this video, go ahead and smash subscribe. And I'm going to be doing a few more airbrush videos on my channel coming up in the future, along with some painting using my airbrush. And it'd be really cool if you guys tag along and check those videos out. Number 4 is located back here, and it's the control knob for the trigger. So you can adjust this in or out, and that controls how much movement is in the trigger. So this is great for beginners because if you want to limit the amount of paint that comes out, you can set this so that you can only get a little bit of trigger pull, or you can open it up so you can get a lot of trigger pull. So this really helps you to be consistent because it takes a little while to get the feel of the trigger action. So this is really helpful for beginners. And number 5 is the micro airflow adjustment valve down at the bottom here. This little knob at the bottom allows you to control the amount of air coming out the nozzle at a very delicate rate. So this is very helpful for getting that very nice consistent stream of the airbrush. It's also great. So overall, these Masters are really good for beginners because of these 5 features. Not only beginners, but advanced users as well. Even though I've been using this for a decade, I still really like the control knob. That helps me sometimes when you get in the habit of rushing, and dual action is great.